Welcome. You have landed in the Vancouver Community College information session, and we're going to cover information on fashion, graphic design, music, jewelry, and gemology. So I just want to quickly say hello. My name is Nancy. I'm going to be your host today. First of all, I would just like to acknowledge that we are on the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples. So that is the traditional home of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. So welcome to your, digital VCC open house today. The way things are going to roll, we have, like I mentioned, a person from each department to answer questions. This is an interesting version. We're having you chat with us through the Q&A when you have questions. So please do that if you have questions that don't get answered by the speakers. Each speaker is only going to speak for about 3 or 4 minutes, so it's a fairly short amount of time. So make sure you get your questions into the box there. So I'd also like to let you know that this session is being recorded because some people that can't make it maybe want to go back and have a look at it afterwards. So I hope you're all comfortable with that. As I mentioned, we'll take the questions after people present, and those will be posted. You put what you need to know in the Q&A, and we'll answer what you need. The Q&A is that it's a dark blue question mark box at the top there. And here we go. So I'm going to start us off by inviting Sarah Murray from Fashion, and she's going to talk to you about careers in training in fashion arts.
Okay, hello, I'm Sarah. I'm the program coordinator for fashion at VCC. I'm going to talk about 2 of the programs that we have. The first is our merchandising certificate program. It's a part-time program, runs usually in the evenings, and we are using both Moodle and Zoom to host our sessions. So everything is happening online right now. We have 8 courses in the program. These 8 courses give you a really great overview of the fashion industry. So you learn about merchandising and styling and marketing and forecasting, textiles and history, retail and buying. So a really great overview. You can complete the course in about a year and a half. And one of the great things about the program is that you're learning both about the theory, but you're also putting it into practice. So you're creating a marketing campaign and running it. You're doing a professional photo shoot for your styling class. You're creating forecasts for the fashion forecasting class. So lots of hands-on knowledge for you to be able to work in the business side of fashion. So that's our merchandising certificate. We also have a design program. So it's fashion design and production. Now this is, you can complete this in 1 year and leave with a certificate. You could also do a 2nd year, and at the end of that 2nd year, you would leave with a diploma instead. No matter at what point you choose to leave the program, you do a 120-hour practicum out in the industry. So you have a chance to get something on your resume, kind of put into context everything that you've learned in the program as well, and hopefully get hired from it too. One of the things that makes this program unique are our fashion cycle classes. So in your first year, you are doing a whole lot of foundational classes, from drafting to sewing to illustration. But at the same time, you're doing these fashion cycle classes, and they run through the entire cycle of fashion production. So design, drafting, construction, sales, and marketing. And that you start with literally in your first week of class, you are designing a tote bag, and 6 weeks later, it's in a store being sold. Then you are doing 6 weeks, the next 6 weeks, you do a t-shirt, a draped top, and then a custom outfit. And then finally, in your end of your 3rd term, you're doing 12 weeks because you're doing an entire business look. So a jacket, a pant, a button-down top. So they get more complicated as you go. And the idea, again, is to put into context what you're learning in those foundational classes. All of that learning that you do, you're meeting industry people, you're kind of learning from your mistakes as well, your costing, all of this is happening. And you use that knowledge in your 2nd year when you put together your final collection. And you spend the first 4 weeks just putting together a plan, and then you create whatever it is that you would like to create for your final collection. It could be something like outerwear or women's wear, but it could also be a line of patterns. And those we showcase usually at Vancouver Fashion Week, but that depends on what the students would like to do. Throughout the program, you're using Adobe Illustrator, you're learning Gerber, which is computer-aided drafting. So you're really well set up to go work in the industry at one of the larger companies that are in Vancouver, or to work for yourself and run your own line. So that's a kind of a quick overview of our programs. We will have an info session on November 3rd at 5 p.m. to kind of dig a little deeper into the program. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to see you there. So that's it for fashion. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I wanted to mention as well that today, until October 16th, I believe, there are chances to win $1,000 of tuition. So there are 3 of those opportunities. We're going to talk about that a bit more towards the end, as well as there will be a fee waiver or an application fee waiver for domestic students. So make sure you check on that. I'm going to now invite, and we have advisors with us. So Raj is here as well as Lucilina. So if you have questions, we'll make sure you get the answers you need. So next up, I'm going to invite Elaine and John.
Thank you, Nancy. So as Nancy mentioned, my name is John. I am one of the instructors over at the graphic design program. Elaine is also here with us today. She is our department assistant. But she is more like our wizard of all things. So graphic design, so it's a very big umbrella, and we take a look at it not just from like one particular angle. Of course, you know, graphic design can include many things like logo design, illustrations, but we also have a lot of opportunities in terms of creating websites, photography, videos, video effects, things like that within this program as well. So our curriculum is a 2-year program, and the overall approach to this program is to make it very practical so that you can kind of hit the ground running once you get into industry. So whether you decide to go into print or web, or even like photography, you'll have not only the hard skills that you need to get the job done, but a lot of the soft skills that are becoming a lot more in demand as Vancouver as a hub for design grows. So what's really unique about our program is that at the end of our 2nd year, our students actually go on a practicum with actual businesses, agencies, studios to kind of almost like validate the skills that they've been learning all this time. And all the instructors here are, we have a team of 12 really great instructors, and a lot of them are currently working in industry. So I myself am one of them, and I'm apart from teaching, I'm also in the industry. So making sure our knowledge base and our practices are up to date. So this is a really good program if you want to be like a freelancer or work in an agency type environment, working as a creative director or a designer. In terms of like the day-to-day workings of if you decide to join us, is that the program is cohort based, so you'll actually be sticking with your group, a group of students all the way through both years of the class, or for both years. There's about 20 hours in each class a week, plus extra lab hours. A lot of it is it's intended so that we can have a lot of like work time or workshop time. So we get a lot of one-on-one time with our students and one-on-one time with the instructors. So it is quite intensive. So there's quite a lot of homework. Expect around 5 to 15 hours of homework per week. That being said, a lot of students do have part-time jobs. The only thing is we ask that you keep that under around 20 hours a week for that. But other than that, we're a very skills-focused department where we're really trying to hammer in soft skills like design thinking, collaboration, client management, self-directed learning in all of our classes. And we're really working so that by the time you graduate from our program, you'll be able to really either start your own business as a freelancer or be able to work as a designer in the industry. See a comment here, which is the average employment for graphic design in Vancouver?
I can answer that one, Sam, if you want.
Sure.
Hello, hi. We don't actually have statistics at the moment. The ones that we do are kind of old, but what I can tell you is that the last cohort that graduated are all employed in the field, and that was 16 students. So if that gives you an idea about supply and demand, certainly the demand is there.
For sure.
Was part of that question above with the COP, what were they asking about? Like maybe
I don't actually know what that is, so maybe they can.
Alejandro, can you
elaborate?
Like maybe co-op, yeah.
Oh, a co-op?
Yes.
I think that's the question.
Okay. So it's more of a 1 month practicum. So it's very similar to co-op where you're working with inside of a live agency. We have students right now working at Camp Pacific and other such companies as that. So, but I believe, Elaine, feel free to correct me on this. But it is a bit different from like a traditional co-op from, say, like Simon Fraser or UBC.
Yeah, I'm not actually familiar with those, but I do know how the practicum works for us. It is similar to basically it's 120 hours. We find them for you unless you want to go and find your own. These are companies that we've been working with over the last 3 years. We've got great relationships with them. They understand that you're students and they take that into consideration. So you will go out at the moment. Obviously, these are all happening online, but you will go out into the field either remotely, depending on what's happening with COVID, or you'll go actually to the agency and you'll work with them. 120 hours works out to be roughly 3.5, 4 weeks. It depends on how many hours a day you end up doing. So that will be between yourself and the practicum as to what their needs are. Hopefully that answers the question. Can you transfer credits to a bachelor program? Yes, it depends on the program, but we do have that. If you want, depending on what credentials you have, you can then maybe join into second year and skip first year. It very much depends on where you went and what credits you have. Can you do the program at your own pace? For example, take less credits than 110? No, because it doesn't really work like that. Each course builds on the course before. So it's not a case of doing design thinking in March and then you decide you're going to do web dev. It's linear. So you take it from the beginning and you work all the way through. And as I said, each course builds on the one before. So if you haven't done it, you will get quite lost. So unfortunately, that isn't an option at the moment, but it is something that we are looking at in the future.
Thanks for the question, guys.
Thank you. Did anyone else have any questions before we move on to the next group? You sure you're all happy? We can't see you, so we're making sure. So there's we put the emails of follow-up for you there for fashion and for graphic design. And obviously, if you think of something over the next few minutes, please fire it into that chat box as well. So next up, we are going to invite Lawrence Malrop, who's the department head for our music department, to speak.
Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me okay? So I'm Lawrence Malrop, and I'm a professional musician, as are most of our faculty. VCC Music has 3 areas I want to talk about. The preparatory music area, where you can take music theory and musicianship and lessons in class piano. That's a 1 year before the program, basically, set of classes. And then we have a diploma of music, and that's a 2-year program. And then the third one I talk about is the Bachelor of Applied Music degree. So really the flow here can start from someone who needs preparatory, or you can take the 2-year diploma freestanding, and after the diploma you can go into degree. We also take transfer students, and our students also transfer to other places. So we've got lots of our students in various master's and PhD level music classes all over the world. Our program is about all kinds of music. We have choirs and brass and jazz and classical music and world music. We have skills like ear training. We really focus on essential skills for performers and composers, etc. Music theory, improvisation. We cover music history. We have seminars, electronic music. We train you about how to make your living as a musician as well. There's a class called Career Opportunities, and our track record is quite good in terms of the Vancouver music scene. Many of our students have gone on to be performers touring the world, and we have a lot of music instructors as well in the Lower Mainland and further that trained at our school. So we also have a lot of different kinds of ensembles. We have jazz ensembles. We have, like I mentioned, choirs, brass. We have gamelan. Lots of different things going on. The other class I wanted to highlight was our performance techniques class, and that's every Wednesday. And every student in the school plays twice a term. And right now we're doing that in an online format. Some of our classes are happening in person with safety protocols in place. And we're running some ensembles, and that's in the auditorium. Like I say, everything's very safe. We're masking, and we've got distancing and all that going on. That's only a few things. Most everything is online this year. So I think that's probably enough about music. So thanks for stopping in, and I'll be here to answer questions later.
So for the guests that are checking out music, was that enough information for you? Did you have any follow-up questions you want to place in the FAQ box for us? Or the Q&A box, sorry. You're all so quiet. Thanks, Lawrence. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay. So next up, we will invite Karen Jones from Jewelry, Art, and Design. I'm just going to go make sure you can see her. Okay, there's Karen. I think you need to unmute, Karen.
There we go. So as Nancy said, I'm Karen Jones. I'm department head of jewelry, and I'm also a graduate of the program from 1993. And since then, I've done all kinds of different jobs in the jewelry business. I've had my own business selling silver and enamel jewelry. I've worked as a goldsmith, did a bit of extra training with some goldsmiths in Germany. Worked in some really high-end stores making jewelry out of gold and diamonds. And so I just like to introduce myself that way because it gives you a good picture of the range of careers that you can have from this program. And so if you've ever dreamed about having a career where you're designing and making your own jewelry and selling it, this is definitely the program for you. 80% of our applicants are come to us with the goal of having their own line of jewelry and being an entrepreneur in the jewelry business. And so we have focused, we actually redesigned our program recently. So we'll be launching the new program in September 2021. And that was one of the major things that guided our redesign of the program, was recognizing that that's the career that people want to go into, is having their own line of jewelry. So we've increased some of the business training. We've updated some things like having more technology like computer-aided design. And also the core of our program is really helping students develop really high-level technical skills in making jewelry out of precious metals and stones. Other things that you'll be learning are you'll have a taste of gemology, so learning about what kinds of stones you'll be working with. We also have, you'll be learning how to draw your designs and how to map them out on paper, both in perspective drawing and technical drawing. And also a new course that we've developed, which replaces what we used to have, which was art history. We now have 2 courses in history and culture of jewelry. So it's really opening students' minds to the whole range of possibilities of what has been done in the past in jewelry and what's currently being done and possibilities for the future. We have also, one of the other major positive changes we've made to the program. It used to be, it's been running for about 30 years, and for those 30 years, it's always been a 2-year full-time program. We found that is sometimes difficult for people to manage, to commit to 2 years full-time. So the new program will be more flexible. So you'll have, definitely the first semester will be full-time. So it's almost like a jewelry boot camp, getting you trained up in your basic technical skills. And then after that, you will be able to take courses part-time up to 4 or 5 years. So it just really helps people you'll be able to do part-time, and by the time you've finished first year, you will have the skills to be able to be working for a production jeweler, like a jewelry company called Wolf Circus. They employ a lot of our students and grads. And also Pira, which is one of the most well-known Vancouver jewelry companies. They also employ some of our students and grads. So you will be able to be doing that kind of job, helping them produce their jewelry while you're studying with us part-time. So yeah, we're really excited about the new program. If you want more information about it, we will be having an info session next Thursday, which is the 15th from 5 till 6. We don't have that on the VCC webpage yet, but if you email me, I'll make sure that you have the link. And the link should be up by tomorrow. If you want to check back tomorrow on the VCC info session website, you'll be able to sign up for it. Okay, thanks. And if you have other questions about jewelry, just enter them in the chat. My assistant Janet is helping me monitor that, and we can answer your questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen. Sorry, I had your slide not up there for a bit. Apologies. Does anyone else have questions? You're all good on jewelry? You sure you didn't want to? Curious about outstanding careers, or you're all good? Okay, we're going to move on then. Oh, wait. Oh, that was music. Okay. Are we allowed to jump back to music? Did the question about the difference between the diploma and the bachelor's get answered, Lawrence, or would you like to?
Sure, I haven't seen that question actually. I've got my Q&A open here. But yeah, the diploma takes 2 years, and then the bachelor's degree, you actually have to have a diploma to enter the bachelor's degree. So the total for a bachelor's degree would be 4 years long. Yeah, hope that helps.
Okay, thank you for that. Next up, I'm going to invite Donna Harelko. Donna, can you unmute and give us the lowdown on a career in gemology, please?
Hello, My name's Donna Hiralko, and I'm the Program Coordinator for Gemology and Continuing Studies. And thank you, Nancy, for inviting me to speak to our guests. I'd like to, first of all, emphasize that the Gemology program has been partnered in with Vancouver Community College for over 35 years now, so we're really proud of this relationship, this being long-term. This is a professional designation level program, meaning that when you graduate from the program, you have the right to use the letters FCGMA after your name. This is not a Vancouver Community College program, but we are in partnership with Vancouver Community College and have been for, like I said, 35 years. The Gemology program is offered in two different formats. We offer it part-time in the evenings for those people who are employed and can only work at it at their own pace. And the first year of the preliminary Gemology is 1 evening per week, with the diploma second year being 2 evenings per week. 1 evening being lecture and the other evening being strictly hands-on working with the equipment and the gemstones. We also offer an accelerated version during the spring-summer term, which is about 4 months. It's exactly the same program, only it's condensed. So it's a pretty intense program, but it's really a great way to get your gemology credentials very quickly if that's what you're after. We're really excited now as well that we are not only partnered in with Canada, but with Great Britain and with Australia. So our course notes have changed, and we have had our course notes supplied by GEM-A out of England, which entitles you to be able to challenge their examinations or the Australian examinations. And it's really a remarkable kind of feat that all of the gemological associations have partnered in with to be able to provide this for our students. We not only can offer course notes in French and English, but we can offer them in the traditional Chinese, in the new simplified Chinese, as well as 8 other languages. And they're all printed exactly the same, just with the different languages. And it's certainly an exciting venture that we're going into. We are really pleased that we have people working in Vancouver area as appraisers. We have people that are employees with gemstone wholesalers. We have grads that have become stone dealers themselves, gemstone dealers. Grads are working for diamond wholesalers, jewelry design companies, and jewelry wholesale manufacturers here in Vancouver. So it's a really dynamic and diverse occupation, depending on what your preferences are. If you want to work with the public, you want to work yourself, you want to work into the arts and design. So it's quite an exciting opportunity. We do have an info session scheduled for Thursday, October 15th from 5 to 6 p.m. It is on the VCC website. So if you'd like more information, please log on there and we will be happy to speak to you for as long as you want and answer any questions you may have. So thanks for coming to Experience VCC. And that is it for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Okay, we have a few more minutes if anybody wanted to ask any more questions. I'm also going to make sure you have a copy of these slides. I'll put them into the chat. So if anybody wants to flip through and look at someone's email that they missed or check to see if there's upcoming info sessions, we mentioned graphic design has one at October 15th at 1 p.m. and fashion has one November 3rd at 5 p.m. Here's how you find us on social media. We have some advisors on if anybody has any questions, but otherwise you can also go to the vcc.ca/advising. We already have mentioned the chat if you have any questions that you want to get to before we end off today. And here's just a bit of information on the services that are available at VCC. We make sure our students have access to advising, financial aid, Indigenous services, there's tutoring, counseling, and disability services. So we highly encourage you to check out an information session or meet with an advisor. Like, no question is dumb. You need information. That's a great way to start. Remember, if you apply, you will get that the application fee waived, and that is a code that is info 1020. That's good until I believe the 16th. And we're also saying to you that if you have the opportunity, you'd like to get $1,000 of free tuition. There are 3 tuition credits available through this our information session series. So make sure that you go and visit that Experience VCC website, fill out the form, and the code is first choice. So that might entitle you to win $1,000. Nobody is going to say no to free tuition. Do any of the presenters that were with us today have any brainstorms and you went, oh my God, I forgot to tell them about this part of my program, which is the most awesome, amazing, enticing piece? Please speak up now before we log off.
Nancy, one thing that I wanted to mention, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I just put it in the chat box, but I didn't realize that Gemology has an info session scheduled for the same time that we were planning to have ours. So I will choose a new date, and that should be up on the website by tomorrow. So if you want to know the new date, you can email me at kjones@vcc.ca, or you can check the info session page tomorrow. There should be a new date up there because in case people want to check out both Gemology and jewelry, the info sessions, they'll be on different dates.
Karen, how often do people do both programs, just out of curiosity?
Well, it definitely happens that people will, learn a bit about gemology in our program because we have a more, less comprehensive version of it in our program. And then they decide to do the gemology certificate as well. So definitely people do both, and that prepares them really well for all areas of the jewelry business.
And Lawrence, you had your hand up. Were you going to add something about music?
Yeah, I was just going to say Herbert had a question about the admission requirements, and the best idea is just email us, music@vcc.ca, and we'll follow up via email with you. We can send you those directly if the website isn't working.
Okay. Danielle, are you still with us? I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else that we needed to cover. No, no more questions. You're all ready to sign up for your info sessions. You know what you need to know? Okay. Well, thank you all, and thanks to all our presenters and to our advisors for being here today to support. I hope y'all have a fabulous day, and we'll see you at VCC. Thanks. Bye.